Chapter 2 focus on ratios and proportions. We're going to look at a few definitions first. A ratio is just a comparison of two numbers by division. So we can write a ratio three different ways. We can either see it written, if our ratio is 5 to 7, we can write it as 5 to 7. 5 to 7 is still how we read it, or 5 over 7. We read them all 5 to 7. Right? A proportion is just two equal ratios, and it looks very similar to equivalent fractions. When we talk about cross products, we are going to multiply the numerator with the opposite denominator. So when we talk about cross products, if I have a proportion A over B equals C over D, this cross products are going to be A times D, that's a cross product, and C times B, those are a cross product. And in proportion, the cross products are always equal. So if I'm asking if these are a proportion or not, is what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, basically I'm trying to figure out, are they equivalent fractions? And so is what I'm going to do is I'm going to find their cross products and decide if they are equal or not. So I'm going to do, and I can use my calculator, 15 times 42, and that gives me 630. And then I'm going to do 35 times 18, and that gives me 630. So since those are equal, yes, 15 over 18 and 35 over 42 are proportions. They form a proportion. So I'm going to do this next one, 0.3 times 2.0, which gives me 0.6. And then I'm going to do 0.5 times 1.5, and I get 0.75. So those two ratios do not form a proportion. To solve the proportion, I'm going to use that same idea. I'm going to say, okay, well, 2 times x should be equal to 9 times 7, which is 63. Those should be equal, so I solve that equation, and I say, okay, this gives me x, and 63 divided by 2 is 31.5. And then I can use the same thing here to solve this proportion. 3 times 5 is 15. And that cross product should be equal to, now I have to be careful here because I'm going to do 8 times x plus 4. I'm going to multiply 8 by this whole quantity here. So I have to make sure that I distribute. So I'm going to have 15 equals 8x plus 32. I'm going to subtract 32 from both sides. So I'm going to have negative 17 equals 8x. I'm going to divide both sides by 8. And this cancels, so I have negative 17 eighths equals x. Now I can rewrite that a couple different ways. I could say that negative 2 and 1/8 equals x. Or I could say that negative 2.125 equals x.